Hey, everybody, welcome into STL Sports Central presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours, and this is Domesticated Gamblers, your home for St. Louis sports gambling talk. My name is Eric Sontag, and there is Tito Ulrich and Shawn Surwillo. We are with you a little early this week with the 4th of July coming up on Friday. So we are recording this on Wednesday night, July 2nd. So you got three tired dads here. It's another edition of Domesticated Gamblers After Dark. We're going to be breaking down this big weekend series with the Cardinals and Cubs at Wrigley. And we are about halfway through the baseball season, a little more than halfway done. So we are going to give you our futures predictions for who makes the playoffs, who's going to meet in the World Series and win it, and also who is going to win the major individual awards. We'll let you know if we see any value on any of those plays so you can get down some action for the second half of the season. We will talk the dumpster fire that is St. Louis City SC. Maybe see if we can win some money in this game on Saturday at Real Salt Lake. Tito, I'm sure you like that name. Real Salt
Oh,
Lake.
sure.
Maybe not as good as the Houston Dynamo, but we're going to roll with it. And then we'll have our best bets here on the show brought to you by Pretzel Boys. And this is a chance for you, the viewer, to get involved in best bets and win a prize. So all you got to do is leave us a comment on this video with your best bet for the weekend. Could be any play from across the world of sports. If you are the first person to comment and your bet hits, you win a $20 gift card from Pretzel Boys. If the first person loses their bet, then the second commenter will win the gift card if they hit their best bet, et cetera, et cetera. So again, main thing, just drop us a comment on this video with your best bet for the weekend. Chance to win a $20 gift card to Pretzel Boys. They have 5 locations across the area. Find yours at stlpretzelboys.com. You can also email us anytime at domesticatedgamblers@gmail.com. We are happy to read it here on the show. Also, hit the like button, subscribe to the STL Sports Central YouTube channel, and Domesticated Gamblers also available on podcast on Apple and Spotify. All right, boys, welcome in. Shawn, what is happening, man? I know it's been a long day for you, cramming in a bunch of your work before the 4th of July. So what's going on in your world, brother?
Yeah, I'm very busy, and it really bothers me when people say, I've been too busy to get back to you." I don't really know. Maybe Tito's busier than me because he's got all those dang kids. But besides that, I'm not sure who's busier than me, and I'm always able to respond to people. So enough with this. I've been too busy, and you text back in a week. Enough of that crap, right? I've been doing as much as possible, and use your phone, use your calendar, get disciplined, get in a structured life, and get things fucking done. Let's go. Yeah,
Ooh,
I'm
I
ready for
like
the
it.
4th of July. Heading to the Lake of the Ozarks for a few days, so a little R&R time, and I'm ready to keep cashing these best bets. Looks like me and Tito are, at the top rope. We have backyard wrestled before, and he came out on top somehow. I don't know how, but we're both at the top rope, so we're gonna see who can keep climbing to the top and get the championship belt, baby. That's what we're gonna do here on this show.
Tito's red hot on these, man. I think we're going to start calling him Mr. Prop because he's just cashing prop plays. Do you like that nickname, Tito?
Not really. I like Tito. I don't like Mr. Sharp. That Mr. Sharp is a complete fraud. He doesn't know what he's talking about, folks. He wants to sit there and talk about backyard wrestling. He wants to sit there and talk about going for the top rope. One thing he's doing for the top rope is making excuses and throwing Hosannas at his own feet. So big whoop to you, Mr. Sharp. I'll tell you right now, you need to tail Tito when it comes to these best bets, Daddy. I'm on fire right now, baby. Woo!
He's absolutely on fire. Shawn, you got something?
Yeah. Yeah, 3-0 in his last 3 picks, but you got a long way to get to catch me 6-1 in my last 7. So bring it on, big man. I'm ready for it.
Hey, Tito's cashing
Bunch
plus
of, a bunch of
255
square
last week.
bets from you, too. I have a bunch of. That's right. Yeah, baby. All my best bets are plus money bets day. So you're just a bunch of minus 170. And by the way, if you're going to have a Pretzel Boy, if you want to try to get a Pretzel Boys gift card, you need to slow your roll. Don't bring some square play into the comment section. I don't want to see any negative or minus 5,000 plays. Okay, big woof to those fans that are putting those comments in the comment section. And Eric talks about wanting to comment, want to email domesticatedgamblers@gmail.com. I haven't seen one single email from any of our fans. So come at Tito, Daddy. Come on. If you got a hot take for Tito, I got plenty of guys chirping me. I got Mr. Sharp chirping me all the time. I got dads at the pickup line. I practice at soccer practice, at baseball practice, chirping Tito. You got something to say, bring it to me in the email, baby. Let's go.
Let's
Hey,
do
one
it.
thing, Tito, I appreciate you dropping Profar. He homered for me tonight, and I really appreciate that.
Left
I'm
him
so
speechless.
stacked it doesn't matter about my players.
It looks like we had a little bit of a lag there for a second. It looks like it's been rectified, so we're going to keep on rolling, and we're going to get into our home team coverage, and it is brought to you by James Carlton with State Farm Insurance. He is my insurance agent. And guys, did the cost of your insurance go up year over year? Because I know mine did, and that is why I called James near the end of last year and said, hey, here's what my current agent wants to charge me for my home and auto insurance in 2025. Can you run me a quote for this exact same coverage and see if you can save me money? I am glad I made that phone call because it turns out I could save over $800 for this year by making the switch to James Carlton and State Farm Insurance. So that's what I did. That's what Tito did as well. It was a super easy process. James and his team basically took care of everything. It was just a couple phone calls, a couple emails from my end, and that's it. And guys, it only takes a few minutes to get a quote. Just call James at his office or go to carltoninsurance.net. And you can look at it like this. If James can save you money, you can take those savings, put it in your sports gambling bankroll. Got a little bankroll started for yourself. And man, it is not just about the money you save. When you go with James Carlton, you know you got a rock solid professional taking care of you. James and his team have over 430 five-star reviews on Google. So this man is legit, and I highly recommend you contact James Carlton today. When you get a quote, mention Domesticated Gamblers or STL Sports Central, and they'll make a donation on your behalf to Mizzou's NIL fund. The phone number 314-961-4800, or go to carltoninsurance.net. If your insurance costs a leg and an arm, call James Carlton, State Farm. And guys, let's kick things off by talking Cardinals. And good God, like they go up to Pittsburgh and just get their asses kicked. They get swept by Pittsburgh by a combined score of 13-0. And I look at it like this, like the Cardinals totally caught the Guardians at the right time. They get the sweep there as the Guardians were really struggling. But then I think it was the exact opposite in Pittsburgh. Like the Pirates are just running like gods right now. They've won 6 in a row over the Mets and the Cardinals by a combined score of 43-4. Okay, so like this is just something that happens over the course of 162. I'm not freaking out about it. I also just think it's more regression happening, like we've talked about. Like the Cardinals got the 9 games over 500 after sweeping the Guardians. That put them back on pace for like 89 or 90 wins. And like we've talked about, this is not a 90-win team. I don't think any of us believes that. So after they get swept in Pittsburgh, that pace is now back down to 85 or 86, which sounds about right. Like I just have a hard time believing this is a 90-win team. I think they're probably going to end up settling somewhere in between 82 and 86. So, Tito, are you freaking out? Or what is your reaction to like this series that we just saw against the Pirates?
Yeah, hell yeah, I'm freaking the hell out. When's the last time we scored a damn run against a Central Division opponent? I mean, big woof. I mean, what are we doing? What are we talking about? The Pirates? No one's playing better than the Pirates. Big woof on all that crap. You go into Cleveland, you sweep the Guardians, you take it to Pound Town. Absolutely was on fire. You're talking about 9 games above 500. That's a great high water mark. And then you've got clear sailing ahead of you. You have a chance to go in and take 2 out of 3 at least from the Pirates, and then you can come into Chicago and maybe take 1 out of 3. But now you've got to win this series to actually have a chance at staying around the division. So big whoop. You played it. I don't want to hear this nonsense about they're an 82 to 86 win team. That's what we're thinking. No, there were 9 games above 500. They had the opportunity of a lifetime to go into Pittsburgh and take care of business. And they absolutely laid an absolute goose egg, and it's got me fired up, got my dander up. What are we doing, Ollie? Come on, get these guys fired up. Get John Gruden back in there to talk about being animals or about being, I don't even know what that social media post was about, but I was all fired up. clearly nobody in the dugout was fired up after that speech. I'll tell you that right now. Big woof.
Yeah, I don't think the boys really took too much motivation from that Gruden speech, but I digress. Shawn, are you more on my end, or are you just kind of more level headed about this, or are you starting to get worried about this team like Tito?
Speaking of Gruden, Spider 2Y Monkey. Yeah, that's what he likes to run. That's an NFL play. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of Gruden. I think he pumps the boys up. He got the Blues pumped up. Yeah, I'm not too worried about it. The only thing I am worried about here is, and last week I harped on this, I'm worried about Mozeliak. I'm worried about going down the trend that we've seen year in and year out. And I don't like to see Hampson in the lineup. I don't like to see Fermin in the lineup. These guys are journeymen. We know what they are. They're nobodies. We got minor leaguers who are ready to come up and make contributions and stop wasting their bullets in the minors. This is the future of baseball, and everybody's, St. Louis right now doesn't understand that baseball's changing. A lot of the media in St. Louis, I remember when the season started, a lot of folks talked about, well, if we call up J.J. Weatherholt, this is a lost season. I disagree. You're seeing the Oakland A's call up, or not Oakland A's, Sacramento A's right now, calling up Nick Kurtz. This guy was drafted last year. He's slugging the ball. He's going to go through his ups and downs, but let him do it in the majors. And J.J. Weatherholt can play the outfield, I'm sure. I know today it looked like they got Wynn out of there, and Fermin came in. I didn't get to watch the game, but that was a couple days ago, I guess. Today,
Fermin was in right field today, and it was an adventure out there, but he survived. But I get your point though.
Wouldn't you rather what? Not even that it's JJ. There's Crooks. There's a couple other kids. I know that he's a catcher, but we can move some stuff around. We watched Chris Duncan play left field. We all saw that experience, and we still won games with that, right? So I'd rather bring up the bat and worry about the defense later. And I'm really worried about Mozeliak here getting into old habits. This could be a 90-win club. You do have the young kids. We are hungry, but we are facing some injuries. And what's he doing? He's bringing up guys that everybody knows these guys aren't players anymore. They're just barely hanging on. Hampson, get this guy out of here. For me, same stuff. So I'm starting to get frustrated with Mozeliak here. And I really loved how he talked about we're going to let the young kids play and figure out this season. But here we are bringing up Hampson, Fermin, these guys that have bounced around. So for me, make the move. Call the young guys up. The Super Tuesday deadline's over. We're in July. So them kids are still going to keep rookie eligibility. Bring them up. Enough of this stuff. I'm tired of it.
Yeah, but when you talk about J.J. Weatherholt, part of the issue is he's a left-handed bat, right? They've been decimated by some right-handed injuries. Jordan Walker had that appendicitis or whatever that was kind of unexpected, and now Contreras got hurt again, but they got hit by a pitch, so that was a little rough. So when you talk about young players down in the minor leagues, J.J. Weatherholt's the first name that comes to mind, but he's a lefty. They're mashing. Their lefties are mashing. Their lefties are having no problems hitting right-handed hitting. It's the lefties that are giving us issues. So I don't know if there's a good solution at this point. I think Hampson is just a Band-Aid to a situation where they weren't expecting to have to go out down to that minor leagues. They had to find someone that was maybe major league ready at this point. I don't expect Hampson to be around for that much longer once the right-handers start getting a little bit more healthy, hopefully.
Yeah, the one thing I would say is it's not what we heard in the off season. We heard about letting young kids play and figuring out what we have.
Yeah, but who do you want them to play? Honestly, Jordan Walker is getting all this playing time, which is great. This is what he needs. But who's the other right-handed bat they're not giving any playing time to? That's the question.
Yeah, but I just don't understand why we're bringing up Hampson and Fermin.
Because there's no other right-handed bats out there. Because there's no other right-handed bats that are.
We do have a ton of left-handed. We have a ton of left-handed bats in the minors. Yes, we do. And that's something they're going to need to address.
That's what they're trying to address right now with Hampson. That's what they're doing with
Yeah,
Vereen.
but
They don't have
Hampson
any
isn't
other
the
right-handed
guy.
bats to use. Well, I understand they're not. I agree. They're not the right guys, but that's what they have right now because you have some injuries from the right-handed side. That's what they have to do for right now. I
I'd
agree.
rather.
If there was some right-handed bat down in the minor leagues that was mashing, if JJ Weatherholt was a right-handed bat, he should be up here, but he's not right-handed.
I'd rather even bring up a kid who's not mashing per se, who's just holding his own at AAA, who's a right-handed bat, over Hampson. We know what Hampson is. Everybody knows he's bounced around. I'm just getting reminded of years past with Mozeliak, and I thought this year was going to be different.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Yeah, the Weatherholt thing too. He's only double A. He's yet to play one inning in the outfield. He's only played second and short. So I
Yeah.
do agree that he needs to work in the offseason. I think they should make this guy as versatile as possible. Give him some reps in the outfield so he can do that and be able to come up and fill a hole. Because clearly this guy, we certainly hope, is a future star for this team. But I'm with you guys, Tito. I think you mentioned like we're kind of in this spot now. We got to take 2 out of 3 here in Chicago to kind of make this road trip what we hoped it would be. I know we said in the show last week we were thinking 5-4 would be acceptable. Certainly look good after being 3-0, but now at 3-3, you were kind of in a spot here. If you want to stay, and they're not going to be out of it. If they lose 2 out of 3, they're still very much in the race. But you really would like to get 2 out of 3 here in Chicago. Let's talk about this big weekend series at Wrigley Field. We do not have odds yet as we record the show, but we do have projected pitching matchups. So on Friday afternoon on the 4th of July, it is Miles Mikolas and Colin Ray. Yeah, could be a high scoring one depending on the weather. We shall see. Saturday, your scheduled starters are Matthew Liberatore and Jamison Tyone. And on Sunday Night Baseball, it is a rematch from last week with Eric Fetty taking on Matthew Boyd. I'm going to kick us off here, and I'm just going to work backwards. So I think the Cubs clearly have the advantage on Sunday. Like we just saw this matchup last week at Busch with Fetty and Boyd. Cubs won the game 8-0. Fetty got pounded for 7 runs. He gave up another 7 runs on Monday at Pittsburgh. We've been talking about it on this show all season long. That strikeout to walk ratio for Fetty has just been god awful. It's now at 57 strikeouts and 41 walks. So like the chickens have come home to roost. The regression has come. It's not like, oh, we think it's going to come. It has come. And Fetty is what he is, and he deserves his stats right now. And Boyd, I don't know how he's doing it, but the Cubs have figured something out with him this year where he has just been incredible after being an 11-year veteran with an ERA in the high 4s. So as of right now, with who Boyd is at this moment on July 2nd, 2025, Cubs have a clear advantage on Sunday. I think Saturday is the game the Cardinals really need to win. They have the pitching edge there because you got Liberatore is back to being a stud these last few starts. Tyone is really fallen off for the Cubs. Cardinals just clobbered him last week at Busch for 8 runs in 4 innings. So that's the one Cardinals should really get. I think Friday is the tone setter. Like, I think of all 3 games, that is the one that has the widest range of outcomes. You got 2 guys in Mikolas and Ray, who I think are very similar pitchers. And like, they're not going to dominate, but they can keep their team in the game most of the time. But they also have the potential to just get absolutely destroyed. So like, I hope for entertainment purposes, we get one of those wild and crazy games at Wrigley on Friday. It's going to be hot. Hopefully we get some wind blowing out and we get some fireworks on the 4th of July. So I do think these 2 teams split on Saturday and Sunday, but Friday is the one I think is a real toss up. And I want to take a closer look once we get some odds and also with what the weather's going to be. Shawn, like, what is your take on this series?
It's going to be tough. I think it's going to be tough for the Cardinals to score runs. Looks like Contreras is going to be down. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes on the IL. I hope not. It's been tough. It's tough for the lineup right now. It's starting to really show without Herrera, without Contreras, without Walker. This was supposed to be. Those are 3 big bats. So I don't like our chances at all. I think the Cubs are going to be fired up, and I think the Cubs probably sweep us. I do. I don't have a good feeling. I don't like our matchups. Our ace isn't on the mound. And Liberatore pitched great against the Cubs, but this is the second time they're going to see this guy. And that's a good lineup. And he doesn't strike everybody out. He's 8.5 K per nine, maybe a 9 K per nine, one per inning. And that's not very good against the Cubs lineup. It's a top offense. So I think the Cubs get the best of us 3 out of 3. I hope we can I hope we can take one and we don't get swept. But the way the lineup's swinging it right now, when you're cold, you're cold. And I think the Cubs got a little revenge coming for us. PCA's got something for us. He was mad about that little play at the wall. So I wouldn't be surprised these guys railroad us for 3 games for sure.
Oh, man. Hopefully the off day's coming at a good time on Thursday so the boys can reset. Tito, how do you see this weekend going?
Well, Friday is the tone setter day, like you said. It's got 2003, 2004 vibes written all over, especially if Wilson Contreras can get in the lineup on Friday. I mean, I'm expecting some big fireworks on Friday. I think there's not any love lost there from the last week. So I'm fired up. I'm ready to watch on Friday. I'm ready for this team to maybe mash and see us come back with a big W, maybe like a 9-8, thrilling victory from 2003, 2004 is time, baby. So I'm optimistic about this weekend. I'm loving Matthew Liberatore once again. I think that he's going to solidify the rotation. I think he's going to kind of give us a calming influence on Saturday. Big whoop on Sunday. I don't know what the hell they're thinking. Hopefully Fetty maybe breaks a nail on Saturday night and can't go on Sunday night. That's my hope. But Miles Michaelis, don't keep that ball up, Miles. Glendon Rush, got that ball up in 2003, and Pools has hit balls that still haven't landed yet. So I'm looking forward to this weekend series. Hopefully, we can take 2 out of 3. Optimistically, Tito's is wanting to ride the wave, but I also got to listen to Mr. Sharp because he's told Tito a number of times, hey, follow Mr. Sharp, and I've kind of learned my lesson a little bit. So, I'm kind of speaking out of both sides of my mouth here, but let's see some fireworks. I just want to see some fireworks on Friday, Daddy. Let's go with that.
Yeah, I've had a good read on the Cardinals all season, I feel like. And, it's going to be tough. I'm with you, Tito. I hope Contreras starts. He's definitely the heart and soul of the team. He brings that edge, and he's a top-notch competitor for sure. So I hope he gets back in the lineup that can definitely help us. But I just think the Cubs got something for us. I really do.
Yeah, as always at Wrigley Field, the weather is going to be key. And that's one thing I want to talk about from a betting perspective. Totals at Wrigley Field. If you bet baseball, you got to be aware of this. So the weather, and more specifically the wind, influences the totals at Wrigley Field more than any other ballpark by far. So never bet a total in a game at Wrigley until you look at the wind. I mean, on Friday with Michaelis and Ray, if the wind is blowing in at like 20 miles an hour, your total is probably going to be about 7.5 or 8. But if the wind is blowing out like at 20 miles an hour, you're going to see that total at about 11.5 or 12, like we saw in those Cubs games with the Mariners at Wrigley a couple weekends ago, Sean, where I know you were cashing a couple bets on the overs that weekend. So tell me, Mr. Sharp, about, I know you love looking at weather when betting baseball, in particular at Wrigley. So just tell us about your approach with that on when to fire a bullet.
Yeah, that's something that you put me on a long time ago with fantasy. So I put that into a little gambling. And so I know a couple weeks ago we had a situation where it was 20-mile-an-hour winds blowing out to center. The over-under got to 12.5. I still bet it. I think we cashed it in the third or fourth inning. Like you said, there's no other ballpark that factors over-unders with the wind compared to Wrigley. That's an edge. You have the 10 commandments of gambling. I have my own 10 commandments, and number 1 on my commandments is always look for an edge. So what's an edge? Wind speed, blowing out to center field 20 miles an hour. That's a huge edge. 2 fly ball pitchers, wind's blowing out to center field 20 miles an hour. What's going to happen? Home runs. we're going to hit our overs. So that's when I like to, I like to bump up my units. So that might be a 4 or 5 unit play instead of a 1 or 2 unit play because you have an edge. That's our number one rule as being a sharp gambler. When we have an edge, we're hammering that motherfucker home and we're going to the Bahamas on that one. That's what we're doing.
Do you have like a choke limit of like, would a number get too high? If you got 20 miles an hour, where you go, oh, God, that number's got up to 13 or 13 and a half. Do you have a limit with that? But like, I think there were 16 runs scored in that game that we're talking about against the Mariners a couple weekends ago. I know the Big Dumper had a big weekend at Wrigley Field that weekend for the Mariners. So like, or is it just really, I feel like that the books almost can't make the total high enough. I feel like 12 and a half is probably the highest that we've seen, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know.
Yeah, 12 and a half is the highest you're probably going to see at Wrigley. You'll see those in Colorado sometimes. Tito's having a little laughing fit here. But, I mean, if you got Paul Skeens and Shota Imanaga on the mound and the wind's blowing 20 out, I'm going to look at that.
On that.
Right, because we got, with Skeens, he's a higher K per 9. He's not putting the ball in the air. So there's definitely factors. But if we got 2 fly ball pitchers, I don't know, 14 I'd probably go to.
Yeah, so my hope is like Friday's a perfect example. If it's Michaelis and Ray and the wind is blowing dead out to center, or I don't care which direction, if it's a strong, close to 20-mile-an-hour wind, they cannot set the total high enough. I think you're saying that for pitchers like that, bet the over when you get the opportunity.
Right, and those are stats you can look up online. You can look up a pitcher's fly ball rate, his tendencies, and the stuff's super easy. Just Google it. Just chat GPT it. It'll tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah. Tito, you didn't like the term choke limit, I think. Is that what I said?
Choke limit and what was the other one? Dumper?
The Big Dumper. Cal Raleigh, baby. That's his nickname.
Big Dumper. When you say choke limit and then Big Dumper, like 2 different sentences, Tito's gonna have a little laughing fit. I apologize, folks. My goodness.
As of right now, we have this is a little far out, but we got 6 miles an hour blown out to right.
Okay.
That's what I'm seeing.
Sitting here again. We're recording this on Wednesday night. Again, it's Domesticated Gamblers After Dark, which is why we're a little loopy, I think, here.
And then also, I don't think any of this implies unless it's at least 12 to 13 miles an hour out. Anything under that, I think you can just throw that with a grain of salt. That doesn't matter.
It's interesting you say that because I actually found a stat on the Action Network, and this is more about betting unders at Wrigley. I know we're talking a lot about overs with pitchers like Michaelis and Ray, but this is something that I found interesting on the Action Network about betting unders at Wrigley, and this is over a 500 game sample size. So this is not just like some short-term trend. This is over 500 games. So when the wind is blowing in, even more than that. I mean, if you got 81 home games a year and with this trend, so what it is when the wind is blowing in at Wrigley at just 5 miles an hour or more. So again, if the wind is blowing in at 5 miles an hour or more and the total is set at 8 or higher, the under hits at a 60% rate.
Wow.
So a lot of times at Wrigley, when the wind is blowing in, most times you'll see the total at like 7 or 7.5. To me, the value is pretty much gone on taking the under at that point. But when the total is 8, like that extra half run is huge when it comes to betting a total. So again, if the wind is blowing in at Wrigley at 5 miles an hour if the wind is blowing in at Wrigley 5 miles an hour or more, and the total is set at 8 or higher, the under hits at a 60% rate. So that is definitely something to look for this weekend. I think that's just the main takeaway. Really, for all baseball gambling, I think it applies in most outdoor stadiums, but definitely at Wrigley Field. Check the weather before you make any bet in any kind of Cubs game there.
Yeah, and also Cincinnati.
Yes.
We've been winning fantasy titles on drafting Cincinnati offensive players because that ballpark, it just plays small. So the over there, too, when the wind's blowing out, we look to hammer that one, too. And those are just auto bets. We just bet them.
Yep, don't overthink it. Anybody else got anything else in this series this weekend before we move on to the MLB futures?
No, I hope I'm wrong. I just think the Cubs are going to be fired up for this, and the boys seem to not be seeing the ball well. The lineups, were banged up, so hopefully we can win 1 out of 3.
Yep, I'd be good with one. And again, hopefully this off day on Thursday is coming at a perfect time so these guys just kind of reset and have a fresh approach on Friday. All right, guys, we are about halfway through the baseball season, so we thought this would be a good time to give you our predictions on who's going to make the playoffs, who's going to meet in the World Series and win it, also who's going to win those major awards like the MVP and the Cy Young. So there are betting odds for all of these things on DraftKings. So we will go through it, talk about where there might be some value if you want to get some action for the second half of the season. So guys, let's start with the divisions. Let me know who you think is going to win it. Does not necessarily mean you're going to bet it, but just who do you think will be the division champ? And if there is a team you think is worth throwing some money on, certainly shout it out. So let's start with the American League East, where the Yankees are a minus 190 favorite. You got the Blue Jays and the Rays lurking. The Blue Jays are at plus 360 and the Rays are at plus 500. So Tito, where are you going in the AL East?
Yeah, I'm going with the Yankees. They're going to make some moves at the deadline, probably bring in another pitcher or two. So I think the Yankees run away with it. It's fairly easy. There's a non-sweat play in regards to the Yankees taking the division.
Shawn, do you agree with that?
Toronto could make a little noise. Scherzer, if he can stay healthy, that pitching staff looks better. But Scherzer's 40-something years old. I doubt that he stays healthy. I pretty much agree, Tito. They're going to get Luis Heel back here in the next month or so. I think he won the AL Rookie of the Year last year. He's got electric arm. So you bring him, Fried. I think you're right. They go add another arm. So they're going to have 3 pretty good arms. And they got a pretty good bullpen. Williams has picked it up. Luke Weaver. I like the Yankees here too.
Hell of a race. As we sit here recording this, the Yankees and Blue Jays are tied for first, and the Rays are just a half game back. So quite a race. I do think the Yankees are going to win the division, but I'm going to make a case for the Rays. I actually think this is worth a little sprinkle at plus 500 for the Rays to win the division. I just think that provides value because I think the odds should be closer to like plus 250 or plus 300 instead of plus 500. So, and the case I'll make is real quick, like the Rays, they're 5th in all of baseball in run differential. So like they can hit and they can pitch. So that's really my big case for it.
One thing you probably haven't looked at is their schedule. Tampa Bay Rays have played more home games than anyone in the first half. Or no, I'm sorry. Yeah, they've played more home games than anyone in the first half because of where they're playing. The schedule makers didn't want them to be playing in the middle of summer at home. So they're going to be on the road a lot second half. So that's one thing I would look at with their schedule.
That is why you're Mr. Sharp. How about that? They've played 53 home games. Just refresh on me. They've played 53 home games and 34 road games.
Yeah.
So, 28 and 25 at home. They are 20 and 14 on the road, but that if you getting on a bunch of trips back to back to back, that could pile up. So that's a great point. I was thinking of maybe just putting a really small play, maybe just like a quarter unit or even like a fifth of a unit on the Rays to win the division of plus 500. But you're talking.
I definitely agree with you. That schedule I think is going to catch up to them.
Yeah, there's definitely something to that for sure. AL Central, I think, is pretty straightforward. The Tigers a minus 2,500 favorite. Any discussion needed on that?
The Guardians do have a really, really weak schedule for the rest of the season. So, I mean, I think they get the second weakest schedule in baseball. So, don't count out the Guardians. I mean, I know they took the measure. They let the Cardinals take them to Pound Town, but I'd say, hey, watch out for the Guardians, Daddy.
I mean, that lineup's so weak. You pitch around Ramirez. That lineup's not doing much. They'll get Bieber back maybe in August. I don't see much with Cleveland.
Yeah, if you want to make a case for Cleveland to make the playoffs, I could buy that. But the division, I think Detroit's a machine. Guardians are plus 2,800 to win the division. So Tito, if you are interested, you could get a little 28-1 action on the Guardians. Yeah. AL West, you got the Astros, a minus 425 favorite. Mariners behind at plus 450. You got the Rangers plus 1,800, and the Angels are still just one game under 500. They're plus 7,000 to win the division. I do feel like this division is kind of interesting with some decent teams in there. Shawn, do you have an opinion on the AL West?
Yeah. Houston, we talk a lot about the Brewers being what the Cardinals used to be. I think that's Houston nowadays. All they do is win no matter what. They change, they get rid of Tucker. They're still winning games. So that organization is doing a phenomenal job. But I do agree. I think if Texas can get hot, you got an ace in DeGrom, and you got Evaldi, who's another ace. I think you got something. That bullpen's struggling. It's been struggling for years, and they got to fix their bullpen. I know Eric's drafted a few of their closers. I have, and it's just a shit show. But if they can figure out that bullpen, I think this pitching's there. That would be a team in October I would not want to face. I would not want to face DeGrom game 1 and then Evaldi in game 2. That might be a quick 2 and out. So Texas, what are they, 9.5 out right now?
Yep.
Seager's finally getting healthy, swinging the bat. I could see Texas making a run, so I don't mind a little sprinkle on Texas plus 1,800 to maybe win that division.
I got more on Texas later. I hope the Mariners make a push because I love the city of Seattle. They have great fans. They've been dying to make a deep run for 25 years or so now. But I just think the Astros own that division. They're going to win the West, but there's no way I'm going to bet it at minus 425. No way. Tito, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm with Mr. Sharp, Daddy. Watch out for the Texas Ranger. I got Marcus Semien. He had a terrible first 2 months of the season. He's been lining up the last several weeks. So he just had another home run tonight, Daddy. So give me the Texas Rangers. I'm a big old fan. I'm never going to root for the damn Houston Astros. Phil Garner, Craig Biggio, Jeff Bagwell, bunch of cheating assholes over there down in Texas. So big whoop to you, Astros. Go to bed.
Well, let's see if you can relate this sound, Tito. Trash can banging, baby. Bunch of cheaters.
Big wolf. Yeah, what a bunch of cheaters. What a bunch of frauds.
I tell you what, though, Seattle's rotation, it's very solid. You got Kirby, he's back healthy. Gilbert, he's a very solid number 2. Brian Wu, that's a tough team.
And Kenny Wu.
And they have a top-notch closer in Munoz. So the problem with Seattle is when they go home, they can't score runs. That ballpark suppresses their lineup. So I don't see it. I don't see their lineup doing enough, even though Cal Raleig's incredible.
You're talking about those Rangers bullpen woes for years now. I think David Freese might have started that off Neftali Feliz back 14 years ago.
I think so. I think you're right.
Let's move on to the National League in the Eastern Division. The Phillies are a minus 180 favorite. That's moved up from about a week ago as the Mets are really struggling right now. The Mets are down at plus 150. The Braves plus 3,500. They just took a horrible, another horrible injury today with Spencer Schwellenbach. Ripped my fantasy team apart as well. I will digress from that. But Phillies minus 180. Mets plus 150. The Braves, I guess, are still there, but man, it is just looking very dire. Tito, thoughts on the East?
Yeah, I like the Phillies. I got a bunch of Phillies in my fantasy team. I got Bryce Harper and a few other Phillies. So I think the Phillies bring it home. They got Zach Wheeler. It's probably the potential Cy Young winner in the National League, except for Paul Skeens. But I'll tell you right now, I think the Phillies take care of business and take this down.
Shawn,
I know a bunch of New York Mets fans are trying to hold these Mets accountable. They're trying to hold, what is it, Juan Succo? Is that what you call him, Mr. Sharp? This guy can't hit.
Juan Succo.
Yeah. He's not the problem. He's been fine.
No.
He's getting going now. Yankee Stadium was built for his swing. He left. That was a bad decision on his part because Citi Field's just not built for his swing. But Mets are 3-7 in their last 10. They're still 2 games back. This out of all the divisions we talked about, this would be the one I would put a money on the Mets. There's, history would show that Bryce Harper can't stay healthy. The Phillies got a lot of innings on those arms. Aaron Nola's down in the IL already. If Wheeler goes down, I don't know. I know they have Sanchez and they have Luzardo, and them guys can pitch, but they're not aces. So I like the Mets here at the value. So when we're talking about value, I like the Mets here. Also, we have a billionaire owner. I think he goes out and gets pieces at the deadline. So if they can stay back 4 or 5 games, watch out for the Mets to win that division.
I do agree. If you like the Mets, now is the time to take them because their stock is super low. You're getting plus 150. I think that's about as good a price as you're going to find. I do tend to agree with Tito, though. I love the Phillies to win this division, but I would not bet it at the current minus 180 price for the same reason, with the Mets stock being low. So that is going to change sooner than later where they get back on track. So once they do that, you're going to see these odds get very close to even again. And that's when I think you should fire on the Phillies if you like them. I love their lineup. I love the rotation. I know Wheeler's the ace, but like Sanchez, Suarez, or Sanchez especially, I think is a number 2 at the very least. He's up there in the Cy Young favorites that we'll talk about here in just a minute. Suarez and Luzardo, very solid. They're going to get Aaron Nola back later in the season. So I fully expect they also improve their bullpen at the deadline. I know that has been an issue. So I would wait if you like the Phillies, but if it gets down to like minus 120 or lower, I think the Phillies to win the division would be a good bet. Let's get to the Redbirds and the NL.
I noticed you
Central.
didn't have Miami on there, and they're on a heater right now.
I saw that.
The Marlins, baby.
They finally lost a game tonight, the Marlins. But as of a few hours ago, the longest winning streaks in all of baseball were the Marlins at 8 and the Pirates at 6.
Can you believe it, Tito? Can you believe it?
Woof.
It was a wild
Hey, who
time.
says baseball doesn't have parity? Look at that right there, Daddy.
Let's talk about the Central. You got the Cubs as a minus 180 favorite here. The Brewers are the second favorite at plus 360. The Cardinals now down to plus 550. The Reds playing pretty good ball this year. They're 3 games over 500, but they're plus 1600 to win the division. So, Mr. Sharp, I'll let you go first on this one. What you got?
I like the value on Milwaukee. This Mizorowski kid, he can pitch. We're looking at it next, maybe DeGrom. He can pitch. Freddie Peralta, top of the rotation. I like teams that can pitch. And they have a little bit of problems in the back end of their bullpen, but so do the Cubs. So I like the value here a lot. I would definitely put 1 unit on Milwaukee to maybe win this division. And you can kind of hedge yourself down the stretch if you need to. But I like Milwaukee. I like the value here a lot. I do think the Cubs make some moves, but it's a very good value here at plus 360. They're 3 games back, and they're just now kind of finding what team they are. So definitely like Milwaukee.
Man, we did not talk about any of this stuff before the show, any of the 3 of us. I'm total agreement with you. This is not just like, ooh, it's a value play. I think it might hit. I actually think the Brewers are going to win the division. I just don't trust the Cubs pitching to hold up, and I trust the Brewers organization. They've won the Central 3 out of the 4 years, and with the emergence of this Mizorowski kid, who we're going to talk more about here in just a little bit, I think they're going to pass the Cubs and win the division. So I'm with you. I'm going to go to DraftKings this weekend and put a unit on this for the Brewers to win the division.
And Woodruff, if he can get back, that's going to be a solid number 3, number 4 starter for him.
Tito, is this unanimous? Or are you still taking chalk with the Cubs?
Big woof on all that. The Brewers have the toughest schedule in baseball for the rest of the season, Daddy. Big woof to this rookie. This rookie's probably going to get shut down at the end of the season if the Brewers knew it was good for him. The value here is the fucking St. Louis baseball Cardinals, Daddy. That's where the value's at. I know. I sat here a few months ago talking about how the under was going to cash. Well, guess what? They're going to shock the world. The value here is the Cardinals at plus 550 to shock the world. The Cubs are going to fall apart. The Brewers are also going to fall apart. And the Redbirds are going to soar, Daddy. Let's go with the Cardinals plus 550. That's where my money would be going right now, Daddy.
Also, Cincinnati. It's been rough for them. They're only 6.5 back. They can get Hunter Green back. I know they got this Chase Burns kid. The problem with Cincinnati is their ballpark they play in. Everybody can go in there and hammer the ball, and that's tough every night when you're at home and teams are just hitting the crap out of the ball and you're down 4-0 in the first inning. That's the only problem with Cincinnati. But they do have some pitching, if they can get healthy. But I'm with you, Eric. It looks like Milwaukee's a pretty good value here.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I think it's priced. I think it's priced wrong. I think it should be,
much closer.
Plus 200.
Yeah, and that's what you're looking for when you're looking to make bets like this. But yeah, like I said, this isn't just. I thought the Rays is kind of more just like a value. I don't think that should be 5-1. I think it should be closer to 3-1. But the Brewers, the Brewers is just. I think they're going to win the division, so that's going to be a full unit play for me. And just the National League Central, a big story this year with 4 teams over 500. The Central Division story. I'd have to go back and look at the numbers. I'm sure we will once we get to October. But this this division is a train wreck in the Major League Baseball playoffs. But so I'm very curious if whoever emerges from this division and potentially a wild card or 2, maybe, can they do some damage in the playoffs? National League West, similar to the AL Central, I think probably not much discussion needed. The Dodgers minus 2,500. Anybody got anything else to add on that?
No, I want to see the Dodgers win the division. I want to see the Cardinals take care of the Dodgers in the playoffs, Daddy. That's what I want to see.
God, I'd love to
Bring on Ohtani. I don't care if you hit 80 home runs, Ohtani. I want to see Clayton Kershaw shit his pants again in the 7th inning.
Class now is coming back. I mean, they're going to get healthy. This is their plan. They don't even need these pitchers until August. So, yeah, they're going to be in the pennant. I mean, it's just fucked up.
Let's don't sound so defeated. My goodness.
You throw $1 trillion at something. I mean, it's just, and then you defer half of it. I'm with you, Tito. It's a fucking Bush League move. It's a joke. It's ruining baseball.
Yep. It's a broken system, and it's going to get tended to here probably at the end of the 2026 season. Let's talk
LA.
Yeah, no kidding. Let's talk wild cards. So my 6 AL playoff teams. I got the Yankees, Tigers, and Astros chalk as division winners. I think the Rays get in. Like I said, I think a little sprinkle at plus 500, is a good play. I was thinking I'm going to take a full unit on them to make the playoffs at minus 180. I know it's a little high, but Shawn, your home road point you made is scaring me off there a little bit. Do you think the Rays are a playoff team?
I think that home park they play in really helps their lineup hit. And so being on the road more, I'm kind of worried about the run production they're going to put up as an offense on the road. Because that Steinbrenner field, it's a minor league field. It's hot. It's humid down there. I don't think they have enough pitching. I'm a big guy. I'm a big pitching guy in baseball. It's what I like. I like 2 aces, and I like a good bullpen to get me to the World Series, and I don't think they have it. I don't think they have it to even make it. I just don't.
Man, and you know what? That's not what the Rays do, though. They don't really go after aces. So I'm not as concerned about that. But your point is very well taken. You've definitely scared me off making the Rays a bet, because this was actually one of my favorite bets to make the playoffs. But you're scaring me off of it. Yeah,
I was looking at it too myself, and when I looked up that split schedule. Baseball did this on purpose. They didn't want them playing a bunch of games in August down south. Makes sense, right?
Yep.
So it's just something that's an edge, right? A lot of gamblers don't know about that edge. There we go. We have an edge.
Yep. So I would still take them as one of my 6 playoff teams, but I'm not going to bet that. It's just something I predict. I do think the Blue Jays get a wild card, but I'm not going to bet that either. They're minus 235 to make the playoffs, so that's too much juice. And for the last wild card, you guys brought up this team. I'm going to be betting at least a half unit on the Texas Rangers to make the playoffs at plus 260. This team has the best ERA in all of baseball at 3.25. So they can pitch as well as anybody, even with kind of that shaky bullpen. We don't really know who's closing out games, but Bochy's figured it out. The team is the best ERA in baseball. And then you look at the lineup. I do not understand how they are 25th in runs per game. I mean, they have guys that can mash. So I just think it's been a weird first half of their offense. I think they get it together offensively and sneak in as that last wild card. Tito, are you on board with that line of thinking? And give me your 6 AL playoff teams.
Yeah, I'm right in line with your line of thinking in regard to that. That's what I was going to mention in regard to the Texas Rangers at plus 260.
Yeah.
They had a terrible start. Like I said, Simeon was absolutely dreadful. I think he was ranked like 850 or 900 fantasy baseball wise. So he's really turned it on, and they've got enough pitching there that as long as DeGrom can freaking stay healthy, I think that's the key there. But I definitely do see them, and then I don't even know. I don't. I think the Yankees are going to make it. I think let's see who else. I think the Tigers are going to make it. So yeah, I don't even give a rip about the AL West or any the other wild card team. Big woof. But I think I like the Tigers, the Yankees. I like Texas to sneak in as one of the wild cards, Daddy. That's where Tito's going to go.
Hot take. Shawn, you got your 6?
Yeah, we're gonna go Detroit. That's a lock. You can put the fucking key in it, lock that one up. Houston, I like Houston to get that thing done, and I think the Yankees too. We talked about it; they're gonna make a move. But for my wild card teams, I would say the 3 in right now, maybe one only stay in the wild card. I love Texas. For me, that's going to be a pretty big play to make the playoffs as a future. We're probably going to throw 500 on that guy. And then I also like Boston. I talk about this. We got Crochet. He's a stud. We got a great bullpen. They're only 2.5 back. I think Boston can get back in there and overtake Tampa Bay, actually. And then Seattle, can their offense score at home? I don't know. Can Minnesota get back in this thing? They have decent pitching. They have a good closer. Those are things I like to look at. I don't know. I think Seattle probably gets in there, so I'll go Texas, Boston, Seattle.
Man, I like that. The American League is very, very wide open for the wild card spots. I mean, you have
There's a good value.
Yeah.
I like the value on those guys. You got Boston at what's Boston at? Plus 300 to make the playoffs. And then you got Texas. What were they at? They were at plus 260. So yeah, I mean, good value here already.
Yeah, Mariners currently hold the last wild card spot at 44 and 41. You have 6 other teams that are within 4.5 games of that final wild card spot. Rangers, Angels, Red Sox, Twins, Guardians, and Royals are still out there. Man, 2-8 in their last 10. They're in a horrible, horrible spot right now.
And one wild card team that was getting hot, they've kind of slowed down with Baltimore. Their pitching's finally started pitching a little bit. They were struggling bad. But they're coming on a little bit. So there's a team to watch out. I know they're 7.5 back, but at plus 1,200, throw a flyer on them.
Yeah, Orioles and Braves.
6 out of the last 10. What are you talking about? They're coming on. Big wolf.
Now, I think the Orioles. Go ahead.
They're 12 under 500 now. They were about 7 about a week ago. So they're starting to struggle again. So they ran into Texas right now. Texas is getting hot.
Yeah. Nightmare seasons for the Orioles and the Braves. Just these teams that just look like they have all this young talent, outstanding seasons last year. Just everything has gone wrong this year. Let's get to the National League. I got the division winners as the Dodgers, Phillies, and Brewers. I think the Mets, and I do think the Cubs will get 2 of the wild cards. I don't think the Cubs are going to completely fall out of the playoff race. But their odds are, again, not good enough for me to bet for them to make the playoffs, in my opinion. And for the third wild card, I mean, there is a very good chance this comes down to the Cardinals against Mike Shildt and the Padres. And I know we're on a St. Louis show here, but you know me, I'm always about being 100% honest and transparent with everything I do. I think the Padres currently at plus money to make the playoffs at plus 110. I think that's a good bet with the talent they have in the team. So I'm going to take a unit on that. I think the Padres get that last wild card spot, or maybe even the first or second. I just think the Cardinals, I just keep saying, I think they finished with about 82 to 86 wins. And I don't think that's going to be good enough this year to get in the playoffs because the National League is better than it usually is. There are 10 teams currently over 500 as we record this. And I think just like the main thing for the Cardinals, I don't feel confident that they're going to win 60% of the time when they go out there because I don't fully trust Michaelis, Fetty, and Palante. That's really just like, there's no way I could throw money on them to make the playoffs, but I'm glad we have the over 75.5 win, Sean, because that's, that is certainly going to hit probably no problem. So I obviously, I guess don't jinx it. I hope they get in. I'm not going to bet against them, but like if I was a neutral observer that lives in Baltimore, I actually think betting on the no on the Cardinals that they will not make the playoffs is a good bet at minus 155. Like, am I crazy for saying that?
No, unless Mozeliak changes course. Because, we've seen enough of Fetty. It's the same I talked about with the offense. Tink Hence is ready. Bring him up. See what he's got. This is what we talked about, to see what the young guys got. Fetty's not the future. Bring up a young stud pitcher, and let's see. Let's see how he does. Yeah, McGreevy, he got hit around by the Dodgers, but that's a tough lineup. But McGreevy's not a high-end prospect for me. I'd rather see Tink Hence, Quinn Matthews. Bring him up. Let's go. I mean, what do you got to lose? Fetty, come on. Yeah, I'm okay with Palante. Palante is getting the ground balls again. I think this guy is actually a pretty decent pitcher. ERA close to 4. I'm okay with Michaelis even. Michaelis can pitch. He knows how to hit his spots. He can pitch. Against a very good offense, he will get hit. And then you got Sonny Gray and you got Liberatore. So we're pretty set. But Fetty's the odd man out. He's got to go. He's a bullpen guy. That's it.
Yeah, one quick point of McGreevy, it just because no matter what we think, he's clearly next man up if there's an injury or a trade. He threw 6 more shutout innings at Memphis on Tuesday, allowing only 2 hits while striking out 5 and walking none. At AAA this season, he's now 8-1 with a 2.28 ERA. Like, what else?
He's got nothing left to prove.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if Fetty needs to go to the pen, bring McGreevy up. And McGreevy doesn't work, then you move on.
Yep. So I got Dodgers, Phillies, Brewers, Mets, Cubs, Padres. Tito, do I have 6 teams from you this time? The assignment is 6 teams.
Yeah, you got 6 teams for me, Dad. I got the Dodgers, big whoop on that. I want to see us take care of business in the postseason. I don't have the damn Cubs. I don't have the damn Brewers. I got the damn Cardinals winning the division. I got the Phillies. I got the Padres. I got the Mets. And I'm going to go with the Reds. The Reds are going to be the 3rd wild card. The Brewers and the Cubs are both going to miss the playoffs. I like Cincinnati. I think Ellie De La Cruz is going to have a huge second half. He may even win the MVP, baby. I'll tell you that right now. I like De La Cruz for the MVP, and I got Cameron Nero for the MVP of the AL. If they're going to shock the world and make the playoffs, Daddy, let's go with them as my MVP picks. I'm jumping ahead of the gun, Eric. I just got to get all this out of my head now. Well, I have it right here, Daddy.
This is where we put the disclaimer in that Tito is the fan perspective and Sean and I are the gamblers on this show. I'll just say that.
Yeah, we're going Dodgers. We're going to go Milwaukee, and we're going to go Mets in the division. And then wild card, we're going to go Philadelphia. I think they get the number 1 wild card. Number 2 wild card, I think San Diego gets it. And then I think San Francisco, as I've been preaching here, Logan Webb, Robbie Ray, good bullpen. I think after 162, the pitching holds up and they get in as the last wild card.
So Cubs and Cardinals both out for you.
No, sorry. Oh, did it? No. Wild card 1, Phillies, Cubs. Oh, yeah. You're right. I didn't say Cubs. Cubs are probably getting in the wild card too. So, yeah, I take San Fran out. Cubs will get the number 2 wild card. And then San Diego gets the 3 or San Francisco. That's a tough call for me there.
I did find this interesting when I was looking up stats about the Texas Rangers having the top ERA in all of baseball, 3.23. Next up, San Francisco Giants, 3.41. I feel like they're flying under the radar a little bit, and that's a team you never want to see in the playoffs because they just win World Series.
And they got Devers. They needed a big impact bat. I think he can help them down the stretch, but same thing with the Giants went to this, Moneyball Wilmer Flores. He hits righties so well, but he can't hit lefty. Hits lefties, can't hit righties. It's like, come on, spend some money. You're on the West Coast.
Yeah, it's my favorite ballpark of all of them, by the way. And I've been to all 30. It's the best. Incredible. Yeah, that's right. Humble brag.
You've been to George Steinbrenner Field. You have not been to.
Oh,
George
I guess I've
Steinbrenner
not.
Field.
I haven't
Big
been
woof.
to Sacramento in my life. I haven't been blessed enough to get up to Sacramento to make that happen. Let's get to the odds to win.
Wiffle ball park there.
Yeah, no kidding. Odds to win the pennants in the World Series. So let's start with the AL pennant. There's a clear top three. The Yankees plus 280, Tigers plus 290. The Astros are plus 380. After that, everyone else is plus 950 or bigger. Here's where I'm at on making bets for who wins the AL and NL pennant in the World Series. As we've learned in this new format with 12 teams, the playoffs have mostly turned into a crapshoot. So even though we did have the two best teams make the World Series last year with the Dodgers and Yankees, I just don't think this is the place to take chalk because I don't think you're getting enough value. So, like, I feel like when you're betting a division, who's going to win a division or if a team makes the playoffs, like for me, from my perspective, I think that's typically more of like my legitimate opinion of what I think is going to happen because you got 162 games for your opinion to play out. But like for the pennants in the World Series, like I view these more as lottery tickets. So for me, like it doesn't mean I think these teams are going to win their league or going to win the World Series, but I want to target teams at a value price that I think can do some damage. And then you get a chance to hedge if they get to that last round. Like my Pacers bet was a perfect example of this. For them to win the Eastern Conference at plus 2,100. I didn't think they were going to win the East, but I liked the draw. They got to the Eastern Conference Finals. I was able to put a small hedge bet on the Knicks to guarantee myself some profit. Ended up winning 15 units. So that's kind of how I approach these bets that we're about to talk about. So if I was going to wager on a team to win the AL pennant, I was initially thinking Rays, but again, he talked me out of it. But I had two plays picked out. I think the Texas Rangers are super dangerous if they get in with Bruce Bochy and this pitching they have, because we know pitching wins in the playoffs and they got a manager who's done it a bunch of times. So like, I definitely think the Rangers are worth a bet at plus 2,800 to win the AL pennant. I think it's kind of on the same wavelength as my Pacers bet. So I get the sense you guys are both, and again, we did not talk about this, but Shawn, I'll let you go first. What were you thinking with the AL pennant?
Yeah, I'm with you at 2,800. We put $100 on that. That's a nice payday. And then we can hedge. It's a pretty easy hedge. I like Texas. I like Bochy every other year. We know what this guy does. He did it in San Fran every other year. This dude won a World Series for every other year. I think it was it odd years or even years back then? I don't remember.
Even years.
But even so, now he's doing on the odd years because last year they sucked, and the year before they won the World Series. So yeah, but when you got DeGrom and Eovaldi as your 1-2, that's tough. But the bullpen. So I do think that's why they're priced where they are. Will Texas make a move for the bullpen? We'll see. But it's definitely worth a taste, right?
Yep.
It's definitely when you have
Small
aces
taste.
like that. Besides that, I don't love much. I mean, Houston, will they get Alvarez back? I don't know. He's back down again with hand soreness, so we'll see. Then they got Hunter Brown. He's a young cat. I don't like him in the playoffs. Detroit, Scooble, he'll beat anybody. But that lineup, I'm not sold on their lineup. The Yankees, back-to-back World Series, I don't see it either. So, yeah, I definitely think Tampa Bay, Texas, even Seattle or Toronto, throw a taste on them because the AL is wide open, like you said, Eric.
Yeah, I think the wild card teams is where you're really going to find value when it comes to betting the playoffs, just because we've seen it, especially in the National League with these 6 seeds making the World Series. Tito, what you got on this AL pennant?
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Eric. I think the Texas Rangers are the right value at that point. I don't necessarily think that the AL is wide open, like Mr. Sharp wants to say. I think the Yankees do have what it takes to get back to the World Series, but for that value of 2,800, I think I like that value a lot with Bruce Bochy and that pitching and that lineup coming around. So if I had a bet right now, and I guess that's one thing I would ask you guys too, is like, would you would you ever consider waiting and seeing what like the hot stove reports are related to who's going to be buyers or sellers at the trade deadline? Would that make any difference in regards to I know that the odds makers are probably going to adjust once trades get made, but is there any value in waiting another week or two to see who might be buyers or who might be sellers?
I think it's a great question. For me, it's a case by case basis by the team. And I just don't think the Rangers are going to be in any kind of sell off mode, especially with how the American League standings have shaped up. They clearly have the pitching. And I think this is a clear case. Their offense is just underperformed. Like, if you look at these guys' numbers and what their potential and talent is, like, this is not going to last. I think the stat was they're 25th in baseball in runs per game. There's no way that it's going to be like that by the end of the season. Shawn, do you have any thoughts on Tito's good question there?
Yeah, that's tough, Tito. Now that the wild card, especially right now, you like you say, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams within 4.5. Even the Royals
Yeah,
at what are they at plus 7,000? If they can get Cole Reagan's back, they got a shot. To get to the playoffs. If they can't get him back, they're probably out. But yeah, that's tough, Tito, because we don't know what these GMs are going to do. And now that it's a little bigger playing field, they're waiting to the last minute until they're buyers or sellers. So,
Right.
that's something with Boston. I've heard rumors about they might sell off because they don't know if they're ready to win a World Series. But if you're in the wild card, how are you going to sell?
Well, that's
So
even kind of that was kind of part of my question in regards to, if you think someone is going to be buyers, would it behoove you to maybe wait another week or two to see, hey, here's what the so-called experts are saying, and so wait another week to see where the value might be, and then that's when you really hammer. If you think someone's going to be buyers and has that chance at making that run, that might be the play to make. I don't know.
I think you would probably want to do it now because the closer it
Okay.
gets, the books are going to catch on. They're going to know who's buyers and sellers, just as
Okay.
well as us. So I
Yeah.
think like right now, if you thought or you knew some inside info that Minnesota was going to be buyers, then we would play them, right? That would
Right.
be we would have an edge. So we just don't have an edge.
Yeah.
yep. 28-1 on the Rangers. That is good enough for me for now. Like,
Yeah.
if I
Right.
if I miss value on that, oh well. If I can cash a plus 2,800, I will take
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, right. We put $100 on it. We're making $2,800. We're calling it a great month.
Yep.
You
So
know.
hoping the Texas Rangers are my Indiana Pacers of this baseball season. That's what I had decided as preparing for this show. Odds to win the National League pennant. You really got 4 teams that are up there. The Dodgers, obviously a clear favorite. God, they're almost at minus money. They're plus 130 to win the National League. Phillies next up at plus 425. The Mets at plus 600. The Cubs are at plus 700. Everyone else is bigger than 17-1. The Cardinals are down at plus 2,800. Tito, what do you got here? Don't tell me the Cardinals. Don't tell me the Cardinals to win the National League.
I don't see any value in any of these plays right now. Like you said, the Dodgers are at almost even money. I really don't see any value in any of these plays, so I would kind of stay away and not really put any of my units on any of these teams. You're 100% right. 2,800 on the Cardinals, big wolf. Yeah, not spending my money on that.
Same
I don't.
prices
I don't
for
have
me.
it. Yeah, don't have anything for you. I think just go with the Rangers from a Tito perspective.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. Like, yeah, the Rangers, same price as the Cardinals to win the pennant. I don't really love anything here either. I actually have a feeling this is the Phillies' year to get back to the World Series, but that plus 425 price is not big enough for me in the crapshoot that is the Major League Baseball playoffs. So, like, I could definitely see the Padres making a run if they get in. Like, they're experienced. They have as good a shot as anybody to beat the Dodgers. They've done it before in the playoffs. They were very, very close to doing it last year. So I do think Padres at plus 2,000 worth a sprinkle. And when I say sprinkle, I mean like not a full unit, but just a little bit, like half unit at most. Probably for me, it'd probably be like a quarter unit on the Padres at plus 2,000. But I agree with you, Tito. Don't love anything here. Anything stand out to you, Shawn?
I like the Dodgers at plus money.
Oh man, no, that's not plus 130. Nah.
But I mean, It's the best team in baseball, and they're not even healthy yet. So when we're projecting and we're looking at, do I have an edge? We're going to get Glass now back. We're going to get who's the other pitcher that's coming back for these guys?
Snell.
Snell. I mean, those are two top of the line aces. So what are the odds going to look like in a month? Dodgers minus 240.
No.
So, oh man, I don't know. I don't know, brother.
I don't
Listen,
know.
my heart doesn't want them to win, but my mind tells me they're going back to the World Series. They're going to win it all. It's the Dodgers world, and we're living in it. So at plus money, I kind of like it. I don't love it, but I kind of like it. I would bet the Dodgers, and then I would take San Francisco.
As your lottery ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I see the argument for that. I'm going to
I
go
mean, you're
back
getting
and look.
Snell, Cy Young, and you're getting Glass now, Cy Young. You know what I'm saying? And
they're probably going to be buyers too. They'll probably buy another pitcher too, probably.
Right.
Yeah.
They're probably going to get another hitter. I mean, whatever they need.
My homework for next week, I'm gonna go look back and see what their odds were to win the pennant last year. And then I also want to see what their odds were to win the NLDS and the NLCS. Because I am wondering if you would be better served rather than betting plus 130 on the Dodgers to win the pennant right now. You might be better served just betting them to win the NLDS when the odds come out. And if they win, taking that money and rolling it over and betting at them to win the NLCS. So I'm going to go look up and see what that was and just see where that would be. But I just think, I don't know, I would really dissuade people from betting a plus 130. I think the books want money on the Dodgers right now. And they're clearly the best team, but as we've seen in the playoffs, that doesn't always matter. So I'm going to look that up. I think I'll have more math behind it next week.
If you said to me right now that rotation was going to the playoffs, I'd agree. But they're getting two studs.
Yeah. No, I get it. I mean,
who's going to beat those three? And Yoshi is their third. I mean, nobody's beating those three.
It is pretty sick. Like, gun to my head, like, yes, like I would say the Dodgers will win the National League, but I don't like that price. I'll report
you probably
back.
would you would probably like to win, bet it odds for Dodgers to win World Series at 235, and then you could hedge a little bit if you got in that situation.
I do think that's a little bit better, and that is a good segue to the odds to win the World Series. And you're right, the Dodgers are the favorite at plus 235. Yankees next up at plus 650. Tigers plus 700. The Phillies are at plus 800, and Houston is at plus 950. Those are your 5 main favorites. Everyone else is bigger than 11-1. Cardinals are plus 5,500. So 55-1 to win the World Series. I actually think I don't like taking teams to win back-to-back. So if I had to throw a dart on who wins the World Series, I think it's the Phillies year. And I think at plus 800, I think this is the market to back the Phillies if you want to do it rather than the NL pennant. So I also just love the lottery ticket on the Rangers. Like, I have this prepared of like I've picked out. I can't believe all three of us are in agreement on this. I view the American League as more open than the National League. I just think the Dodgers and the Phillies are going to be cut above the rest come October time. So the Rangers are at plus 7,000 to win the World Series. I think you could do worse than having a lottery ticket on 70-1 for Bruce Bochy to win a World Series. That's where I'm at.
Totally agree. Totally agree. Plus 7,000. Good rotation. They need bullpen help. I think that's the same as the Phillies. So we're both, we're all in agreement. These teams have good pitching, good lineup, but they need bullpen, right? So let's see what they do. But at plus 7,000, yeah, I love that play. But for me, it's the Dodgers. I think they're going to get this thing done. It's going to be, throw up city.
Yeah, I think I would rather. I agree with you. If you're going to take one of those two, the pennant or the World Series, I would take the Dodgers to win the World Series rather than plus 130 to win the pennant. I could stomach that a little bit more. Tito, what you got?
Yeah, no, I think the right play is the Rangers at that lottery ticket play. If not, I would probably go with the Yankees. Big Yankee fan over here with Aaron Judge and a few of the other starters that they got. So I would go with the Yankees to come out of the AL and maybe win the World Series against those frauds, the Dodgers.
The thing with the Yankees was last year, Soto and Judge, that was so hard to get through them. And, Judge is still incredible, but Bellinger, he's not Soto. These other guys around Judge aren't Soto. It's just, I don't think it gets home.
Speaking of Aaron Judge, yeah. Pitching looks pretty solid. We're speaking of Aaron Judge. He is the favorite to win the American League MVP at -1,000. You got the big dumper, Cal Raleigh, up next at +500 for the Mariners. Everyone else is bigger than 100 to 1. So, it's basically Judge and the big dumper. Judge is probably going to win this, but he is one hit by pitch on his hand away from not winning this. Like we just saw, thank God Wilson Contreras.
So was the big dumper.
So was the big dumper. So, I'm not betting this market. I actually don't really like any of these individual markets that we're going to talk about. But I do think there's some fascinating markets here. So Judge -1,000, big dumper +500. And we got anything on this one for AL MVP? You got a couple of the names at 100 to 1. Jose Ramirez, Bobby Witt Jr., and Tarek Skubal. Shawn, any thoughts on this?
What's the Grimes odds on winning the MVP?
Winning MVP?
We're not to the.
Tito tells.
We're at AL MVP.
So you think he could potentially win AL MVP if he keeps this up?
100%. Yeah.
If he can lead them to the playoffs, it sounds like he might do.
No.
Yeah.
Tito,
yeah. He's done it before.
La La Land. There ain't no way that he's going to win the MVP when you have Aaron Judge that's going to hit probably 65, 70 home runs. There's no way.
I'm with Eric, though. If Judge gets hurt, DeGrom's right in the conversation. What's he plus 2,500? What's he at?
I pulled these odds earlier today. They've since taken them down because we're in the middle of baseball action tonight. But I don't hate that. Again, lottery ticket. But to buy that rather than going to the gas station buying a scratcher's ticket.
The one we have low, we have 15,000 on Vlad Guerrero Jr. So I'm sure DeGrom is below that. Yeah. He's 9-2 with a 2.13 ERA. And if this guy is who he is, second half he's going to be even more dominant. He just found himself. It's been a long time since he pitched. If he can get him into the playoffs and Judge gets hurt, we can win a long shot lottery ticket.
I mean, I understand that, but the likelihood of Judge getting hurt versus the likelihood of DeGrom pitching the rest of the season is kind of you're comparing apples to apples there, I think. So I think there's better value at, other places, and I'm not quite sure what the odds for. If you like the Rays, I like the Rays. I like your point in regards to the Rays have had a lot of home games. But if you think the Rays are going to make the playoffs, why not Junior Cabanero? I mean, honestly, the guy's having an outstanding breakout season. Maybe put a sprinkle on that guy. I'm sure he's got crazy odds too if you want a lottery ticket. So I think Aaron Judge is going to take it home. But if you're worried about getting hurt, I would look at another lottery ticket. And I would totally fade the big dumper. That guy's going to have a terrible second half. He's going to fall off the face of the earth. And they're going to say, oh, what happened to this guy? I know exactly what happened to him. He got the pressure got to his big dumper head.
One thing about Cal Raleigh is he incredible defense. I think he won a platinum gold glove too last year. So this guy's defense is off the charts. He's a hell of a player, man. Hell of a player.
One more point on the DeGrom. I would not actually waste the money on a ticket. His 2 years, he won the Cy Young back-to-back in 18 and 19. He finished in MVP voting 5th and 10th. I don't see any way he would make it all the way up to first. I'd be stunned by that. But I don't hate it, but just I wouldn't go for it. National League MVP, similar situation where you got a huge favorite in Shohei Ohtani at -1,400. Again, if he stays healthy, he's going to win it. A few guys that could sneak up if Ohtani gets hurt. Our boy PCA, if you can remember how many outs there are, his MVP odds will continue to go up. He is at +1,100 to win the MVP. And then your next two guys are way far down. Juan Soto, he is not Juan Succo. He is Juan Soto. He is playing well this year. He's at +3,000. Ronald Acuna Jr. down at +3,500. I guess those are the notable ones. Here's what I'll say. As I was getting ready for the show this morning, I was like, I think Acuna could be the guy that if Ohtani gets hurt again, if Acuna can get super hot and lead the Braves to the playoffs, I think plus 3,500 is some pretty good value. Then I saw the Schwellenbach news, and it was just a punch to the gut. And I just don't know how much more this team can take. So I just don't see the Braves making the playoffs. But if somehow they make a huge charge and get there, I think Acuna has a real good shot to win it. But I just don't know if it's worth any kind of lottery ticket. What do you think, Shawn?
Yeah, I mean, Acuna's batting 350 on the season right now. He's been
Yeah.
incredible since he got back. But I'm with you. I had a future on Atlanta. All the injuries are piling up. Sale, Schwellenbach, they're done.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my team now. Now I got Max Muncy, who just got hit by a pitch. So my team's falling apart here. Contreras, Muncy, everybody's hurt. Bichette, Carroll, Alvarez, Bregman. Oh my God! But you know what? We'll keep going, Tito, because that's what I do, and I'll see you in the finals, baby. So we'll get back to NL MVP. It's got to be Shohei because he's also pitching 1 or 2 innings,
Right.
and if he keeps that up, his ERA is going to be low, and a two-way player is always going to win the MVP. That's something about Travis Hunter. You know, that's why he won the Heisman, two-way player. It was just more stats. So, Shohei is definitely a clear winner. It's tough. I don't think PCA, his underlying metrics would show that he's going to have a bad second half. He swings out of the zone a lot, and that's going to catch up to him. And I'm with you. Acuna would be another guy, but I don't think Atlanta gets this thing done. And you know, you're not going to see an MVP, a team not make the playoffs. Ketel Marte, maybe, but Arizona's banged up. I mean, Tatis Jr., maybe, but I don't see much here that I like really. I just think Ohtani runs away with this.
Yep, I agree with you. And then at minus 1,400, there's no way you can bet that. So I think it's just a pass. Unless Tito, are you throwing a lottery ticket here at somebody?
No, absolutely not. Big whoop on all of these guys. Ohtani, hope you get hurt, Daddy. No, I'm just kidding. I don't hope you get hurt. That's a terrible.
I mean, now that he's pitching, just project this thing out. Maybe he's going 4 or 5 innings by August with good ratios. You know, his ERA is probably going to be 2.1, 2.2. He's hitting 60 bombs. It's his. It's over. It's already wrapped up.
How many stolen bases does he have? He's got like 30 stolen bases too, doesn't he?
I think the stolen bases are down now that he's pitching. They're going to limit his stolen bases. So
this guy's going to be the first
handle.
ever 77 guy. I'll tell you that right now. He's going to hit 70 home runs. He's going to steal 70 bases. Big whoop.
He's only at 11 this year after having 59 last year. So Mr. Sharp, as usual, right again.
They talked a lot about that in the offseason with him coming back pitching that they weren't going to let him steal. I mean, it makes sense, right?
Yeah, it does make sense. We'll kind of try and roll through these others a little bit quickly. I was hoping we get out of here in an hour and a half.
What a marathon this is me. My goodness, what time is it? I got to go to bed.
Hey, man, this is evergreen stuff we got here. Yeah, you got actionable information here you could have for a few weeks here.
Listen, folks, I want to say one thing. I have done not much research today because I was super busy at work. And I still came in here, and all my fucking numbers and stats, everything's fucking dead on. That's why I'm Mr. Sharp, baby.
Wrong again.
I cannot argue with this. Scooble, your boy, Shawn, AL Cy Young favorite at minus 200. Crochet plus 400. Hunter Brown plus 600. DeGrom's at plus 1,000 to win Cy Young. So MVP, whenever I see that market, it's gonna be huge. Tito, do you have a play on the Cy Young? Who do you think is going to win it? And do you think there's a good bet on anyone?
Yeah, I like the lottery ticket of Max Fried. He's been awesome with the Yankees, so I would go with him as a lottery ticket. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Tariq Skubal. I think he's going to probably run away with it. Second year in a row. Cy Young winner in Detroit, Daddy.
Yeah, Max Fried listed at 16-1. Shawn, what you got?
Yeah, I think DeGrom could catch him. That's the only guy, stuff-wise, who can sniff fucking Skubal's ass. You know, really. When we're talking about this, Skubal's the best pitcher in baseball. I drafted him 6 overall in fantasy. He's ranked number 4 overall. That's what the fuck I do, baby. I almost kept him in the second round, but I knew I could get him at 6 in the first. This guy's the best pitcher in baseball. I love him. But DeGrom, if you want to throw a little sprinkle on DeGrom, I don't mind that. I don't like I don't like Max Fried long term. He's been pitching over his expected numbers, so I expect Fried to come back to earth a little bit. Still a very good pitcher, but not what he's been pitching. He's more of a 3 ERA guy. Hunter Brown, a little bit, but plus 600. I don't that odds there. It seems like that's a little low. He's been incredible though. But for me, I wouldn't play anything here except a Grom small taste.
If Scooble dropped to a certain point, do you have a buy price if he got down to a certain number that you would buy it? Minus 200 seems too high for me at this point.
Yeah. Well, Scooble's at a 2.15 ERA, 0.83 WHIP,
Yeah.
11.39 or 11.39 K per nine. I couldn't play him at anything minus money because I'm not going to lay that because he could get injured, right? And
Yeah.
then someone
Yep.
jumps him. So there's nothing there for me to play.
Yep, that's fair. I found it interesting. Hunter Brown actually leads the American League in ERA at 1.72. Like that's nearly a half run better than Scooble. But
And
last year, Brown's ERA was 3.49. So I just get the
yeah,
sense he's going to end up. He's still going to have a great season, but I just think his ERA is going to end up behind Scooble before it's all said and done. Yeah, I agree. If you're going to throw a dart on this, I think DeGrom is the guy. But Scooble, I feel like me personally, I would want like probably minus 150 or better.
yeah.
But I see what you're saying.
Hunter Brown, his numbers are really backing up what he's doing. Not what he's doing right now. He's not going to be this good, but
Right.
yeah, definitely a 3 ERA pitcher, maybe 2.5 this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you like that, throw a sprinkle on it. But Scooble, as long as he stays healthy, he's going to win the Cy Young.
Yeah. I bet Hunter Brown ends up with like a 2.5 to 2.75 ERA when it's all said and done, which is a great season, but not Cy Young caliber. National League looks like we got a 2-horse race at this moment. Paul Skeens minus 155. Zach Wheeler next up at plus 190. It's probably going to be Skeens, but I don't want to bet this. It just would not stun me if the Pirates are just super careful with him down the stretch. Here, really, in his first full big league season, he was up most of the year last year, but not the whole year. I hope it is Zach Wheeler's time. He's never won a Cy Young. He kind of reminds me of Adam. He reminds me of Adam Wainwright a little bit. That he's always rock solid, consistent. He's been the runner-up twice. He finished 6th another time. I just feel like he's been the most consistently great starting pitcher in baseball over like the last 5 years or so. Like, is that fair to say? I feel like I can't think of anyone who's been better consistently over that stretch.
I totally agree. I can't believe he's never won a Cy Young. I would have thought for sure he has. He's had some great seasons to not get it home.
Yeah. Tito, Skeens at minus 155. Is that enough for you to pull the trigger? Or is there another pitcher you like here?
No, absolutely not. I don't see any value in any of these players. I hope to see Zach Wheeler, fantasy baseball, legend for Tito Daddy. So I hope he wins the Cy Young, but I don't see any value here that I would be wanting to pull the trigger on any of these fools.
Shawn, same thing. Skeens at minus money. You're like, nah, I would need plus money for that.
Yeah, and I'm worried about Skeens' innings piling up on him. Pittsburgh's going to be out of this thing. Do they shut him down in August? Probably. For what? When you're 20 games out of, under 500, what are you going to keep running him out there for? Yeah, there's a little value, I guess, on Wheeler then to get this thing done to win his first Cy Young. So I kind of like that. I wish it was plus 250, plus 260. But at 190, it's worth maybe a play. I see Christopher Sanchez is third on the list. He's on my fantasy team. I drafted him, I think, in the 16th round. What a stud pitcher. What a stud pick by yours truly. So I kind of like him a little bit, but Sanchez is young and he doesn't strike a whole lot of batters out, puts the ball in play. So don't love him long term. Yamamoto, a little bit of odds there, 2,500. That's not bad. Maybe to play that.
Yep, not bad. AL Rookie of the Year, Jacob Wilson, your minus 400 favorite. Nick Kurtz, plus 550. Cam Smith, plus 600. Go ahead, Mr. Sharp.
Tito, were all three of these players on Mr. Sharp's team or what, baby?
Probably, Daddy. Yep, you're welcome on Cam Smith. Big wolf.
I traded Jacob Wilson away for Alvarez. Wilson's probably going to win this thing. I was all over this kid. He's a great contact hitter. In that small park, it really plays for his power. Love his bat to ball skills. Love Jacob Wilson, but I traded him for Alvarez. I'm playing the upside there. Nick Kurtz, way better than Jack Calgialone. Is that how we say his name? From
I gotta
Kansas
look it up.
City.
I'm too tired to
Yeah.
remember at this point.
I don't like Cam Smith here, but I like Nick Kurtz. I like Kurtz a lot. He's a good power hitter. He sees the ball well. He swings in the zone. So look for Kurtz to have a big second half. I would play Nick Kurtz to maybe get this thing done. I like a little small taste on this because Wilson, he's kind of like Luis Ariz, right? Great contact hitter, but not a lot of power. And after 162, the average is going to come down. He's mostly just an average guy. So there's some value on Kurtz for sure.
Yeah, I don't really like anything here. Price of Wilson minus 400. I don't know. Tito, you got anything on this?
I'm with Mr. Sharp. I like Kurtz with the value of plus 550. So let's go with Kurtz on this one, Daddy.
All right, NL Rookie of the Year Jacob Mizorowski has been a revelation for the Milwaukee Brewers. He's made
What a line.
did I say that word right? I don't even know. It's 11:29.
It was awesome. It was great.
He's made 3 starts and he's a minus 180 favorite to win the NL Rookie of the Year. So you got Drake Baldwin plus 450 and Augustine Ramirez at plus 1300. Everyone else is 25-1 or bigger. I got to say, Mizorowski, I think, is going to be a stud. But I just think a rookie pitcher who throws as hard as this guy does, the injury factor is definitely in play here. At minus 180, there's no way I would play that. I actually think Augustine Ramirez, the catcher for the Marlins, at plus 1300. I'm going to put a taste on this. He's actually been, he is a dynasty fantasy baseball player of mine. I have him in a league. So I've been following him for a while now in the minor leagues. Dude is a highly touted catching prospect. He's hitting for big time power since he got called up. He's played in just 59 games. He's got 12 home runs and also 33 RBIs. So he should definitely finish with over 20, 25, maybe pushing it, but he should probably finish with 20. And if Mizorowski gets tails off, he's probably not going to tail off, but if he gets injured, which is very, very possible, I think that's a great price on Augustine Ramirez to win the Rookie of the Year at plus 1300. I see a lot of nods here. Is this sharp? Is this a sharp play, Mr. Sharp?
Yeah, I like it a lot. I definitely agree. Mizorowski throws hard. We all know what happens. Tommy John's coming, right? Eventually. And Ramirez, he's been solid all year. The only thing is Miami's lineup. But they've been hot lately. The only, I like lineup context. So I don't know how many opportunities you're going to keep getting all year because as the playoffs comes on, what happens is with these lower teams is they walk Ramirez, they walk Stowers, they walk the 2 best hitters, and they get around them and they pitch to all these other bums. So, that's the only thing. But at the value, it's a good value. I totally agree. He's a good young player.
Tito, is it unanimous? Augustine Ramirez, let's go.
Yeah, I think it is unanimous. I like your play. I like the line with Mizorowski being a what? What did you call it? You said what did you say? You said something that
he's a revelation. Is
revelation? Say revelation again, Daddy. Ooh,
I don't want to say it because I'm saying it wrong. My brain is.
No, you're saying it exactly right, Daddy. It's making the hairs on my back tingle, Daddy. Woo, revelation. Jacob Mizorowski's a revelation, Daddy, for the Brewers. Woo.
So we're going to be big Marlins fans here watching Augustine Ramirez. I think I said it right. A revelation, a surprising and previously unknown fact, especially one that is made known in a dramatic way. I'd say becoming a minus 180 favorite to win the Rookie of the Year in 3 starts. That is a revelation for the Milwaukee Brewers. He's going to be a big problem in this division for a long time. Man, I am loving this baseball betting talk. I love talking ball with you boys. I could do this all night, even though it is 11:32 in the PM. You can get even more baseball betting action with DraftKings Pick 6. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app today, and you can cash in on your player prop knowledge. So just select 2 or more players from any sport and choose if they'll have more or less of a stat. So for Thursday, I really like Brian Wu of the Mariners. We mentioned him earlier in the show. Dude's been dealing this season. His ERA is under 3. He's got a whip under 1, and he is facing the Royals on Thursday, who are last in MLB in runs per game. So I'd be targeting Brian Wu props on Thursday. Also be betting on Eugenio Suarez of the Diamondbacks. He's hitting .381 with 5 homers over the last 2 weeks. He's facing a tough customer, Robbie Ray, on Thursday, but Suarez in his career against Ray, a .364 average, a home run, and 5 RBIs and 11 at bats. So I like Eugenio Suarez on Thursday as well. These are the kinds of things you can do on DraftKings Pick 6. It is available in most states, including California, Texas, Georgia, right here in Missouri, and more. New players get $50 in Pick 6 credits instantly on just a $5 entry. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app and use code STL Sports. That's code STL Sports for new customers to play $5. Get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Better payouts, bigger wins. Only with Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
All right, guys, we're going to talk St. Louis City SC real quick, and I mean real quick for this game on Saturday because both these teams are terrible with St. Louis City SC and Real Salt Lake. City loses 1-0 to Houston. They generate just .3 expected goals. So it was ugly. Their last 16 games, City has 1 win to go along with 11 losses and 4 draws. So not only are they bad, but it's back to being boring again with this team not generating anything offensively. Real Salt Lake, they are just 1 spot above City in the standings. So both these teams are bad, but Real Salt Lake, pretty heavy favorite here, -140 for a team that has only won, I believe, once in their last 9 games. City +300, your draws +285. Total is at 3, over -110, under -125. Tito, what you got?
Yeah, I like City in this matchup on Saturday
Wow.
night. Like what I saw defensively on Saturday. They let some young guys play. They didn't have Baumgartner, that absolute fraud of a defender, out there. He was I guess he broke a nail for some bizarre reason. Thank goodness. So if they let the young kids continue to defend, I think Saturday was just a system of a lot of games in a short amount of time. So having a week off, I think offensively, they're going to be able to create more chances. And so I think with Berkey behind the net and with some of those young guys in the defensive line, I think they come back with I think they come up with a big W in Salt Lake City on Saturday night. So I'm going with City in this matchup.
Wow. Shawn, I'm guessing you do not agree with Tito.
Well, I don't know what he liked. I guess he liked that we had this goalkeeper. He had 3 saves. That's what we got on net. 3 saves last week. Well, you're going to win a lot of games when you shoot the ball in the net 3 times. So, yeah, I don't, whatever. We played some, keep everything in front of us, but 3 shots on goal, that's not going to win any games, ever. You're never going to win with 3 shots on goal, ever. It looks like Berkey had 4 saves and he allowed 1 goal. That's still not going to get it done, Berkey. Fade City, this thing's a dumpster fire. It's been terrible all year. Talked about it. And we had 3 fucking shots on goal. It's over. This season's over. Fade City, whatever Eric's betting, I'm betting because he's been winning all year.
I did not win last week because I had the over.
I know you did.
Yeah, so that was not good last week. I'm not touching this one because I thought City was just going to be a cash cow for the over, but now they're back to playing these low-scoring games again. So I'm sitting it out. If I had to, I would bet the under. I talked about City didn't generate much of anything really in the second half against Orlando after that incredible first half. So it started then. They basically did nothing at Houston. So like whatever new manager bounce they had where they were playing a more exciting brand of soccer, that is over. And Real Salt Lake, they play low-scoring games as well. Under 2.5 goals is cashed in 7 of their last 8 games. So if you're looking for some action to get through watching this game, because this team is just a disaster, unfortunately. My lean is under 3 at -125, but I'm going to be sitting this one out. And I would not be surprised if they just blow this whole thing up at the end of the year because it's just not working.
From a fan's perspective here, Tito, are you looking for 3 shots on goal when you go to a game? No,
If you look,
boring.
what,
Boring,
again,
especially when you're this bad, right? I can understand if you were in a tight situation, you needed a draw to get in the playoffs. We're a terrible team. We have a terrible record. Open it up. Why are we getting 3 shots on goal? It's boring. It's not going to bring fans to the stands. It's open it up for what are you going to do if you don't lose? Who gives a shit? You're already losing. Open this thing up.
that's a hot take, Jay. Like I said, I think it was a combination of going to Houston and it being hot and muggy, playing I think 3, maybe 4 games in a matter of like a week and a half. I think is a lot of games for this squad. They're already not very good, so I think that was a recipe for an under, which is what we got on Saturday. So I definitely think that no one's excited about only getting 3 chances on net. No one's excited about that. I totally agree with you. That's not what my analysis stated, though. My analysis stated I liked the way that they came out defensively. Those the young guys that they had in the back line were keeping things in front of them. Were able to able to suck down the dynamo, all that stuff. But you're right. 3 chances on net is not going to score you any goals. But I think with the week off, I think with the approach that Critchley has had over the last 4 or 5 games in regards to being attacking mode, I think you're going to see a lot more of that against Real Salt Lake. And again, as long as Baumgartner is not back there in the back line, I like the way that the defense played on Saturday. I hope to see that again this Saturday. So that's why I'm going with City in this matchup.
I hope you're right, brother. I hope they get this done
Yeah.
and make it exciting because it's just been really, really depressing to watch. Let's get to a happier topic, and that is our best bet, sponsored by Pretzel Boys. And again, this is a chance for you, the viewer, to cash in. All you need to do is drop us a comment on this video with your best bet for the weekend. It could be from any game across sports. And if you are the first person to comment and your bet hits, you win a $20 gift card from Pretzel Boys. Again, if the first person loses their bet, then the second commenter wins the gift card. If they hit their best bet, so on and so forth. So leave that comment on this video for your chance to win a $20 gift card to Pretzel Boys. For our best bets last week, I was the big loser, losing a play on the Angels against the frickin' Nationals. Shawn, good job starting a new winning streak with the Brewers. Cashed to -1.5 against the Rockies. So you're now 6-1 in your last 7 for Mr. Sharp. But the big story here, Tito cashing his 3rd best bet in a row, all player props, all at plus money. Last week was a monster plus money bet. You could have taken George Springer 2+ total bases already at plus money. Tito says, no, that's not good enough. I'm going bigger. You took George Springer to have 3 or more total bases at plus 255, and he gets 3 and cashes in. So I guess we're not calling you Mr. Prop. You don't like that, but I cannot wait to hear your best bet this week, Tito, as you go for 4 in a row. So what you got?
I got one thing here before we let Tito get to his best bet. Eric, you're the numbers guy, right? I'm a numbers guy to a certain point. So is Tito. So we're running this experiment right now, and sometimes the gut feeling does pay off.
Yep.
But Tito's working.
Tito's had numbers, man. You look at that history, you look and see if someone's hot. I give you props, man. So what do you got? I think I'm gonna no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna blindly tell you. Give me your case. Give me your case. Bring it on.
I mean, my goodness, thank you so much for throwing those hosannas at my feet, Eric. I do appreciate it. I was sweating it up. That was the last at bat that George Springer had in the 9th inning. I was like, my goodness, my best bet streak's going to come to the end. And then he came back with a big single in the 9th inning to cap off another great best bet for Tito, Daddy. So thank you, George Springer. I always loved you, except for when you played with the Astros. But I digress. So this week, again, I kind of was bitching to you guys a little bit earlier about the prop market not being what it is. There's no props out there for tomorrow already, not yet. There's still games going on tonight. So I can't go with another prop play. But, I did some analysis, And I really like this matchup of the Detroit Tigers against Attitude, Daddy. I tell you that right now, right? So the over-under in this matchup tomorrow night is 9.5. And Detroit, they've been pretty good with the over-under. The 6-4 of the last 10 in regards to over-unders. The Attitude 7-2-1 out of the last 10 with their over-under. So I'm going to go with another plus money bet. We're going to take the over 9.5 in Attitude versus Detroit. That's plus 100 with DraftKings. So that's my best bet tomorrow night. Detroit Nationals over 9.5.
It's on Thursday. Yeah, it's Jake Irvin for the Nationals and some guy named Dietrich Enns for the Tigers. Have you heard of this guy, Sean?
I have not, but Tito, just so you know, that's even money, brother. It's even money.
Still plus 100. It's the same thing. Saying like a
Yeah,
12 or a dozen.
It's even money.
I don't hate it. I think it's getaway.
You bet
day,
100, you win 100. You bet 100, you win 100. You don't win 101.
It's getaway day, Tito. I don't like taking overs on getaway
it's a
day.
6:05 start. It's not an afternoon start. It's not a getaway day. It's a 6:05 start. Nobody's trying to get out of there early.
Tigers are going to Cleveland after that. I mean, no city is better than Cleveland. The nightlife in Cleveland. I mean, the Tigers not going to they can't wait to get there, right?
No.
Don't agree?
No.
Nationals are staying
If
home.
it was an afternoon game, I would be a little nervous, but it's a night game.
How about this, Tito? The Nationals play on the 4th of July, so the next day at 10 a.m. Central Time. And you're taking
it's
an over.
6:05 start. I don't give a rip. It's an overcast festival, Daddy.
I am not tailing on this one. I might even fade.
No shit, Sherlock. When are you ever tailing me?
First 500, maybe. We'll see. All right, so
Tito's. I might just throw a curveball here and just fade Tito because I think he's full of you know what. But I got my best bet. We're gonna take the Minnesota Twins minus 125 money line. Miami's been on a big winning streak. They lost today, 2-1, and I don't think that they're good enough to get back on the winning ways. Yuri Perez has been struggling as of late, coming back from Tommy John surgery, and I like David Festa to get done. At least go 5 and have some good ratios. So give me the Twins minus 125. I think it's good value there on the money line.
All right, I like that. Fuck baseball. I'm just losing my best bets with that.
Oh my gosh!
I'm going back to soccer, baby. FIFA Club World Cup. FIFA Club World Cup. It's hey man, this game's being played at the Atlanta Falcons Stadium, Mercedes-Benz Stadium on Saturday. Quarterfinals of the Club World Cup. It's the Champions League winners, PSG, taking on Bayern Munich. My best bet, PSG to advance to the semifinals at minus 140 on DraftKings. I'm taking a little juice because I want a winner, but I said if it's under minus 150, I'm going to take it. And I am going to bet that this is in pocket, Sean, all right? So PSG's best team in the world. They won everything they played this year. They ran a gauntlet to get through the Champions League. So this team is battle-tested. They want this. And Bayern Munich, they're really good, but think of them as like they're a bully where they can really bully other teams, but then when they go up against another bully, it does not tend to go well for them, at least of late. So with my bet, it does not matter if it's done in normal time, extra time, or PKs. It doesn't matter. My best bet is PSG to advance to the semifinals at minus 140 on DraftKings. Again, this is
I'm going to ride that with you. PSG.
Yep, this is Bayern Munich and PSG Saturday in the Club World Cup. It's an 11 a.m. Central kickoff. Tito, what's wrong with my play? What's wrong, baby?
They really want this. What a fucking lie that is. They don't give a rip. They wanted to dominate Messi, which they did last week. They don't want this Club World Cup. This means nothing to them. Big wolf on all those analysis. Bayern Munich will take them to Pound Town. There'll be a bunch of scrubs. You'll see.
Come at me, Daddy. What's going up? I'd love to see it.
We got to get Eric back on
with that bet.
We got to get Eric back on the winning ways. Get up here with me and Tito in the upper room, baby.
Hey, it's one bet a week. It's been a really good last week in the Sontag household with the gambling. So we're going to keep this going. A cold streak.
I have a question. Remember that soccer play you said where this team was going to come in and it was like the Cubs were going to close down Wrigley Field.
Oh, yeah.
What happened on that one?
Oh, I won. I won easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Everton in the EPL. Yeah, that was an easy winner. EPL is my favorite sport, not my best sport historically in gambling over the last several years. That will be coming back in
I'll
mid-August.
tell the fans right now, Eric in college basketball and soccer, that's where he's going to make you money.
Yep, that is my bailiwick for sure. Let's finish up this thing before we get to the 2-hour mark. We're at 149. Home team plays of the week. My favorite play for a positive play, Tito, for the local teams. Don't have odds yet. I'm going to take the Cardinals to beat the Cubs on Saturday with Libertor against likely Tyone. It's Tyone, right? God, it's 11:48. Jameson Tyone. That's how you say it.
Yeah.
I think Libby's back on a roll. Sean, I love to see this week. There's been no talk about innings limitations for Libertor. They're riding this guy, it sounds like. So I think he gets it done on Saturday. Give me the Cardinals to win that day. You disagree?
I'm really hoping he has another good outing because he will be on the market in our fantasy baseball league. We've already seen fatigue with him, and he dropped a few miles an hour. So I think it's there at the end of the season. I definitely think there's going to be an innings limit on Libby because they know what this guy can be for him next year and the years coming. So I don't like the Cardinals at all this weekend, and I don't like Libby long term. I've been talking about it all season. When he has to be precise. When he hits the spots, he's a good pitcher, but his K per 9 is just not high enough for me. But I hope he pitches well because I'm going to be trying to deal his ass.
Do you have a home team play of the week, or is it just Cubs money line every game?
Well, no, I think the Cubs are going to be favorite in every game for sure.
I don't think that Saturday will be close. I bet that'll be about a toss-up on Saturday.
We'll see. I don't know. I don't like Libby against the Cubs 2 times in a row. Besides that, you know what? For my hometown team play, I'm going to ride Tito with City. I think he's on to something. I think he knows that City's just going to kick the ball around and not make any shots on goal and maybe win a 1-0 game.
Tito?
So I'll take City.
That's
City
where I'm going. I'm going with plus money pick for my home team play of the week. We're going with City to win against Real Salt Lake, plus 300, Daddy.
Yeah, I like it. That is going to do it for our show here tonight.
If you like it, why don't you tell us what a bunch of fraud that is?
I like
it.
I like your gusto. I was just trying to close out the show, and that's just the thing that came out of my mouth without thinking. I didn't really like the play.
and let the fans know here pretty soon with sports slowing down, we're going to start diving into some NFL talk, some gambling talk. Mr. Sharp is always sharp in the NFL. I've already started my research, so I can't wait to dive into that. Especially, Tito. I already know what Tito's going to be hot and bothered about Mahomes winning another Super Bowl. That's his guy, Mr. Public over there.
Yeah, we do have an NFL game this month, the Hall of Fame game taking place Thursday, July 31st in Canton. So we'll be starting to dive into some football next week here on the show. But that is going to do it for today's show. Hit the like button, subscribe to the STL Sports Central YouTube channel, and drop us a comment here, again, with your best bet for a chance to win a $20 gift card to Pretzel Boys. Also, reminder, email us anytime, domesticatedgamblers@gmail.com. We are happy to read and discuss on the show. And most importantly, if you take anything away from the show, take a few minutes, get a quote from James Carlton with State Farm Insurance. I am just super confident he's going to be able to save you money like he did for me and Tito. The phone number 314-961-4800 or go to carltoninsurance.net. You will see his info in the YouTube description. For Shawn, for Tito, I am Eric. This has been Domesticated Gamblers here on STL Sports Central, presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours, and they got their money's worth tonight with a nearly 2-hour show. So thanks for being with us, guys, here. Let's cash some bets this weekend, and we will see you next Friday.
Yeah, let's get to bed.